Gluzek, Bass University TV. I'm here at one of my favorite river systems during the spawn, and I love fishing this time of year because the fish get so concentrated, you can really target them. A lot of river systems are like this. River systems that have a lot of flow, the fish are forced to spawn in backwater areas like this little one that I'm in right now, which is way off the main river channel, which is out there. There's all the current, all the big flow. The fish can't spawn out there, so they've got to come in here. They've got to come into places that have good deep water or deep enough water where they can spawn in, hard bottom, and out of the current flow, protected from a lot of the elements, the wind and all that. So this makes for an excellent spawning area, and they really concentrate up in here this time of year. But problem with this river system, like a lot of other bodies of water, is you cannot visually see the fish spawning most of the time. Most of the time the water has a lot of stain in it, or it's got high water where there's too much depth over the beds. You're unable to really target fish visually and sight fish for them. So we have to do something that we call blind fishing for bedding fish. In other words, I don't know where the fish are, but I suspect that they're bedding along these areas, so I'm gonna target them, try to catch these fish that are spawning without visually seeing them. And I have a really cool little system that I've been using for years to catch them. And I'm gonna share that with you here today on the on-water training portion of Bass University. And I've got my tools all laid out right here for you guys to see. And these are my bedding tools that I use for fish that I can't visually see. And the first one that I'm going to get after is the jig. And this is a 1/2 ounce jig. It's got a heavy weight. And one of the reasons I really like the heavier weight this time of year is that weight allows me to stay down. It allows me to get good contact with the bottom, stay in and around those beds, which is what I need, what I want to do. I want this to look like a bluegill. I want it to look like a crawfish. I want it to look like something that's going to threaten those fish or threaten those eggs and intimidate those fish a little bit on the nest. So that's what the jig does. And the heavy weight allows me to stay in contact with the bottom. It allows me to get down in the nest and stay in there. And it can really be a great tool to catch fish that you can't see. So I'll start out with the jig, and I'll use that tool quite often. But what can happen a lot of times is that the fish that are on the beds get somewhat intimidated or accustomed to a jig, and they won't respond to it. A lot of times on bluebird, sunny days, or days that are high pressure, I can't get them to bite the jig as well. Days like today, we've got a little bit of breeze, we've got clouds, we've got overcast. I like that bigger profile, and those fish will get a little bit more aggressive, and I'm more likely to catch them on the jig style bait on the nest. So what I'm going to do is go through the progression. This is my power fishing tools when I'm bed fishing, and I'm going to go all the way down to the finesse, and I'm going to show you the progression that I go through. Now, here's a great little tool that I use. It's a creature bait. Creature baits are wonderful tools to be using on the nest. I don't really know what the bass thinks they are, but it looks intimidating to them, and they love to bite them. But one of the ways that I love to fish them, and I'm going to set this down for just a second, and I'm going to reach back and get my light Carolina rig rod.